Welcome once again. So just getting ready to start our yoga practice. For today's session, we're going to be based mostly on the floor. So if you'd like to take a blanket and maybe a cushion or two to have them ready, because you may need them during the class, take your time to do that now. So today's session is going to be a floor-based flowing practice, so nothing too challenging. And we're going to start in a seated position. So I'd like you to just start in a seated position. This is where you might like to sit on your cushion or your blanket. So I'm going to get myself a nice cushion. Close your eyes and just focus on the breath once again. So breathe out through your nose and then take a nice deep breath in and let it go. And again, in through the nose and breathe out through your mouth. Sigh it out. And one more time, inhale and exhale. And then just let the breath settle back into its natural rhythm. So we're going to move into child pose to begin with. So you can get rid of your cushion, or you can use your cushion to place your head on it if you'd like, for a nice comfy child pose. So knees nice and wide, big toes touching, sit back onto the heels or as close as you can, and bring the hands in front. So if you want to bring your cushion under your head, you can. Now we might just move the cushion aside as we get ready to extend the arms a little bit more. Now if you're finding it difficult to get the hips back, just come up a little bit, come onto the toes and just bring yourself up a little bit further here. Otherwise, we're just going to creep those hands over to the right. And as you do, pay attention to your left hip. So try to stop the left hip from lifting. So once the left hip starts to lift, you've probably gone as far as you need to go. Just rest the head between the arms. Breathe into it. And then walk your hands back to the center of your mat. And we're going to go to the other side. So now the awareness is into the right hip. So again, we want to keep that right hip level with the left hip. Walking the hands back into the center. We'll come forward onto all fours, bringing the knees in now so that they're under your hips and placing your hands under your shoulders. Just a little bit of cat-cow as you exhale, round the back. Draw the chin in, draw the navel in. As you inhale, lift the head, lift the hips, look up. And again, exhale. And inhale. And exhale back to a neutral spine. So the spine is more or less flat. Move your knees back a little bit and then start to move the weight forward and back. Again, you can curl toes under here if you like. Hips back towards the heels. Forward again and back and forward and back to neutral spine. We'll flatten the feet down once again. So then just start to move yourself from side to side. So move the hips a little bit, side to side. If you want to, you can turn the hands out and just let the shoulders, the hips, everything move from side to side. Come back to center and bring your hands forward once again. Now step your right foot back, flatten the foot. Bring your left hand into the center and we're going to bring the right hand onto the right hip. Now, you might be happy to stay here. If you can, maybe think about lifting that right foot. Maybe lifting the right arm. And then maybe taking the right foot with the right hand. Really press into your left hand to steady yourself. Press the right foot into the right hand. Okay, release that down. So remember for that one, if you find that too challenging, you can just stay here or here. That's perfectly good. Nice stretch. And then slowly bring the right hand down and the right knee down. So I'm just going to turn around here once again. Left foot back this time, and we're going to flatten the foot. Bring the right hand in, so it's more or less under your right shoulder. So start with just opening up here and maybe coming to here. So this is a perfectly good stretch for anybody. Now, if you feel you want to take the foot up, maybe go for here or here. And if you're feeling adventurous, bend the knee, take the left foot with the left hand. And again, you want to press into that right hand for stability and press the left foot into the left hand. And then slowly release that left foot down. Come back onto all fours. You might like to just sit back for a moment, stretch out in child pose. Then come forward again. Curl the toes under and we lift up into a downward facing dog. So just pedal the feet a few times. Now take your right leg back, bring your right knee into the chest, right foot forward and we'll drop onto the left knee. So come down into your lunge and now we're going to bring the hip back towards the heel as you straighten out that front leg, maybe lifting the right foot. And then coming back into the lunge. And once again, stretching. And into the lunge. One more time, stretching the back. All of the back of that right leg. Back of the calf, the hamstrings. And forward. So stay in the lunge this time. Place your left hand on the floor. Again, if you needed a bit of support, you could use a cushion or a blanket for the left hand. Take the right hand to your right hip and then stretch it up into a twist. Anybody feels like it now can curl the back foot under and lift. Again, we're stretching into that back leg if the knee is lifted. And slowly down. Reverse your twist. So bring your right hand inside your right foot. Bring your left hand to your left hip and left hand up. And once again, if you want to lift the back leg, go for it. Okay, bring the left hand down, right hand outside the right foot. Step yourself back into your downward facing dog. And again, you can just walk the feet out. Bring the left leg back. Knee into the chest, left foot forward. We'll drop onto the right knee. So if you want to here, you can curl that back foot under. Bring your right hip back towards your right heel, stretching the left leg, lifting the heel. And coming forward. Lunging, back again, stretching that left leg. You don't have to fully straighten the leg if that's not working for you today. You can just come to here with the knee slightly bent and just gradually work on stretching out those calves and hamstrings. And slowly come forward once again. So once again, we're going to move into a twist. Flatten the back foot. Bring your right hand to your hip. Stretch up. If you want to, again, you can lift here. Dropping the knee. Going to the other side. And maybe lift. And bring the left hand down. And once again, step yourself back into downward facing dog, walking your feet out. Right leg back once again. Knee into the chest. Right foot forward. Step the back foot in a little bit. And we'll come into pyramid pose. So again, you mightn't be straightening the right knee completely, or you might dropping your head. Just let the back of the neck release, let the forehead release in towards the shin. If you need to, you can have that back heel slightly lifted. Now step the weight forward into the right foot, bring the hand slightly forward and lift your left leg just to hip level, dropping the head. And then straighten up as much as you can with the right leg. Bend the right knee, bring the left foot down, stepping back into downward facing dog. Up and down off the toes for a moment. Left leg back, knee into the chest, left foot forward, and once again step the back foot in, maybe lift the heel. See how much you can straighten the left leg and drop the head, drop the forehead towards the shin. Pyramid pose. Relax your shoulders. So again, if this front knee has to be bent, that's okay. Bend your left knee, bring the hand slightly forward, lift the back leg, the right leg, just to hip level, and then see how much you can straighten your left leg and release your head. Bend the left knee, bring the right foot down. Once again, step back into a downward facing dog and we'll walk the legs out. If you want to, you can lift up and swivel the heels from side to side. So from here, drop onto your knees once again. And we're going to come up to an upright kneeling position. So, stretching your right leg out. Bring your right foot more or less parallel with the short edge of your mat. Lean over to your left side. So once again, you could use a cushion, a block, anything that you'd need for support. Reach up through your right arm. Maybe take your right arm over your head. Gate pose. Right hand back on the hip, slowly come up. So we're going to reverse all that. So you can either keep the hand here, you can slide it down your thigh as you take the left hand up and over into a kind of a crescent moon shape. And slowly come back onto both knees. If you're using a support, move it over to the other side. So we'll take the left leg out, parallel the foot, drop down with the right hand. Take your left hand up, you can stay here, or take it all the way over your head. So you're now creating a nice long line from the fingertips on the left hand to the outer edge of the foot, feeling a nice stretch the whole way up the left side of your body. Okay, left hand back onto the hip, slowly come up, stay where you are and go to the other side. So again, you can support the lower back or you can slide the hand down as you take the right hand up and over. Now, if you find it easier, you can, at this stage, you can turn the foot out like so. Maybe it'll let you go a little bit further to the left side. So right hand back onto the hip, slowly come back onto both knees. Onto all fours once again. We'll just get rid of any supports that we have. Curl the toes under, a downward facing dog. So once again, just walking the legs out. dropping onto your knees. Okay, a few yoga push-ups to get the upper body working. So for this, you can cross the feet. Now, if you need to leave the feet, if you have issues with your knees, you might like to even bring a blanket and place it under the knees. That's nice and comfy. So we're going to cross the feet at the ankles, either keeping the feet down or lifting them. Your hands are going to angle in towards each other. So inhale first, and on your exhale, bend the elbows out to the side and bring the chest and the chin towards the floor. Just almost to the floor, but not quite. And then pushing all the way back up to straight arms on an inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Last one. Exhale down. And inhale up. Okay, from here you can drop the feet and you can bring yourself back into a child pose for a moment, just a resting child pose. And then slowly push yourself up to seated. Sit back, stretch the legs out in front. And this is where if you want to come back onto your cushion, you could do that for the next few poses. So come and sit in Dandasana for a moment with me. Draw the toes towards you, roll the shoulders back and down, draw the navel in, sit tall. And just sit quietly as you breathe. As you open your eyes, bend your right knee and take your right foot to the inside of your left leg. So this is where the cushion, even if you wanted two cushions, if you need to lift the hips up a little higher, and you'd sit towards the front of the cushions just to let the hips drop. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, we'll just bring the hands either side of the left knee and we'll creep the hands forward. So we're not going to use any belts or props or anything today. We're just going to keep this nice and soft. Let your body go as far as it's willing to go without any pulling or dragging on it. So the hands can be wherever. Draw your toes towards you and just look towards the toes. Relax the gaze. Slowly walk your hands back. Now take your right hand behind you and your left hand across into a twist. So keep the gaze soft, maybe looking down towards the floor. Chin is just over the chest. And the twist is happening all around the waist area. Use the hand against the knee for a little bit more leverage. Slowly coming back to the front, straighten out your right leg. Bend your left foot to the inside of the right leg. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, the hands down either side of the right knee. And then creep those hands forward. Try to straighten the leg if you can. If that's too much, you can have it bent, but if you can straighten the leg and draw the toes towards you, that's great. Soften the gaze and look to your toes. Relax your shoulders. So I find by not using the straps or holding on to anything, you're more likely to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Slowly walk the hands back. We'll take the left hand behind, right hand across onto the left knee or wherever you can hold on to, and just moving slowly into your twist. Inhale, come back to the front and straighten out the left leg. So staying on your prop if you're using it, inhale both arms up. Now you can soften the knees if you need to here as you exhale to come forward. So again, you're going to hold on to wherever is appropriate for you. If you want to take the feet a little bit apart, you can, and some of you might be taking your big toes with the toe lock. Inhale, half lift, and exhale. Once again, soften into it rather than pulling or dragging yourself. So if that means you're just here, that's okay. We want to lengthen through the spine rather than rounding the spine. So work with your body today with, going as far as you can go without any discomfort. You should feel a bit of a stretch in the back of the hamstrings and the calf muscles, but please, no pain or discomfort. Again, we'll soften the gaze looking to the toes. And then slowly coming back up. You might like to get rid of your cushion if you're using it now. Stretch the legs out on your mat. Bring the hands behind you, about a foot behind, with the fingers facing in towards your hips. Point your toes away. Inhale, lift the chest. Keep the chin tucked down. And then if you want to come further into this pose, you can push into the feet, pointing the toes towards the floor, lifting everything. Or stay at stage one where you're still getting a nice back arch. Slowly begin to lower the hips, bend your knees, and just fold forward, rounding the back. And from here, just bring yourself down onto your back. Knees bent, walk the feet in so that you can tip your heels, feet hip distance apart. So we're going to come up into some version of bridge pose. So you can take lots of different variations here. So pressing into the feet, lift the hips. So if you just want to come to here, and that's your bridge pose for today, that's perfectly okay. If you want to begin to come up a little bit higher, walk the shoulders in towards each other, maybe even interlacing the fingers underneath your back. Press into the feet, particularly into the big toes. Lift the hips and lift the chest towards the chin. Keep the chin tucked in and keep the head centered. Now, if you want to here, you can lift one foot at a time. Maybe place the hands down here to give yourself a little bit more support. Right foot down, left foot up. So as you lift one of the legs, press strongly into the supporting leg, the one on the ground, to just keep that lift in the hips. You don't want to find yourself sinking down. So you want to keep lifted. So this really works the bottom leg. And then slowly getting ready to come down. So bring the hands out, flatten the shoulders, and slowly release your spine all the way to the floor. Hugging the knees in, making those little circles at the base of the spine. Now from here, just bring your legs straight up into the air. Maybe draw the toes towards you, activating the legs. And this might be enough for you today, just legs up in the air, because we want to get some bit of an inversion going today. Now, if you're feeling, your neck is okay and you're used to practicing a shoulder stand or a half shoulder stand, we're going to give that a go. So I would suggest that you get a blanket and fold it a couple of times to place it underneath your shoulders. So lie back onto it so that the edge of the blanket is kind of level with your shoulders and your head is on the blanket. This just is nice to give a little bit of extra support and cushioning to the neck. Now, if you're happy enough to stay with feet just up in the air, you can do a little bit of twiddling around, moving the legs, bending and straightening. If you want to come up into shoulder stand or half shoulder stand, bring the knees in. Now begin to lift, and here you're just supporting. You can see where I'm supporting the lower back with my knees bent. And then maybe gradually straightening the legs. So you might like to just come into a half shoulder stand where the legs are kind of over your head. Now I'm really appreciating having that support under my neck and my head, having the blanket. If you want to come a bit further up and start to walk the hands up towards your shoulder blades, and then you'll gradually find the legs straightening. Chin is tucked in, don't try to move the head. Now this is not going to be for everybody. If you have any neck or shoulder issues, it may not suit you. If you want to come further into plow pose, now begin to bring the feet over your head, maybe one at a time. Now another variation for this is to have a chair maybe behind you and just drop the feet onto the chair. So I'm not going to get up to get a chair today, but you could try that, a stool or a chair just at that level behind you. Now bring your hands back onto your hips. So be very careful coming out of this. Bend the knees in towards your forehead. And then using your hands very slowly, roll yourself out of it. Hug the knees in. Bring the feet down on the floor. So as a counter pose to shoulder stand, we've kind of compressed everything. The chin is pressed in. We are going to take fish pose. So for fish pose, feet slightly apart, lift your hips and place your hands underneath your hips. Now you can straighten out the legs. Begin to bring your elbows in and pushing up onto your elbows, maybe lifting up onto the crown of your head. Now, if that one doesn't suit you, maybe come into what I call easy fish pose or Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of the feet together and maybe even just bring the hands behind the head and relax like so. It's just to open up the front of the body after the compression of the shoulder stand. So again, this might not suit everybody, particularly if you have neck issues. And again, to come out of it, slowly lift your head, bring it down, bend the knees, slide the hands out, and hug your knees into you one more time, making little circles or just rock from side to side. Place your feet back on the ground. Hug your right knee in. Stretch your right leg up. So again, you can hold on to any part of the back of the leg that's comfortable for you. Some of you might grab the big toe. Just stretching out that right leg. Now bend your right knee and place your right foot on top of your left, just above the left knee. Let the right knee drift out to the right just to release the hip. Relax your arms at this stage, palms upwards. Relax the shoulders. Cross your right leg over your left. Shift your hips a bit more to the right and drop both knees to the left side as you turn your head to look over the right arm. Palms upwards now, shoulders relaxed. Slowly roll back onto your back, uncross the legs. So left side, hug your left knee in. Stretch it up, hold the back of the leg or grab the big toe. Placing the left foot just above the right knee. Let that left knee drift out to the side. Relax the upper body. Cross the left leg over the right. Shift the hips over to the left. Dropping knees to the right and looking back to your left. Rolling back over onto your back. And from here, you can just get yourself ready for Shavasana. So if you have your blanket and your cushions nearby, just set them up and get ready for Shavasana. So lying down onto your back or maybe on your side, use the cushions or the blanket for support and to cover you. Relax the back of your head, all of your back onto the floor. Soften through the jaw, the shoulders, the rib cage. Release the hips. And just let your body sink into the mat. Bring your awareness once again to your breath. Taking a deep exhale to begin with, and then inhaling deeply through your nose. Exhaling fully through your nose once again. So just take a few nice deep breaths in your own time. And gradually let the awareness of the breath recede as you bring the awareness back to your body. Relaxing your scalp, the crown of your head, back of your head, your face. Relax your neck and shoulders, both arms. Relax your chest, your rib cage, your abdomen, your upper back, all the way down the spine to the tailbone. Relax the pelvis. Relax both legs. Your whole body completely relaxed. And now slowly bring the awareness back to the body as you begin to move your fingers and toes, introducing some more movement into the body. Taking a deep breath in and exhale it out. Another deep breath in and exhale it out. Hug your knees into you. Roll over onto your side. Staying here now for 3 breaths. And then slowly pushing yourself up to a seated position. Come to sit with one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Inhale. Exhale as you open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you once again, and I hope you enjoyed your practice. Take care until next time.